Sarah Carroll. Je parle un peu français, mais pas assez pour faire la présentation. Alors, je vais le faire en anglais. Mais après, je peux traduire et mettre sur le site web en français, si on veut, en français. OK? J'espère que vous allez comprendre. Bon. Okay, merci. Bon, I'm delighted to be here at this conference and to share with you a little bit about how Industrie 4 will actually interface with e-commerce. Ah oui, je suis moins grand que l'autre. I'm a specialist in e-commerce strategy and training. We're based in the UK, which is a very advanced digital and e-commerce economy. About 20%. You okay? About 20% of the sales, retail sales, are actually done online in the UK. And in fact, many of the traditional retailers are actually closing down and are going out of business. So we're sort of at a different stage where the digital is taking over. And in fact, you know, the country is not really keeping up and businesses are not keeping up. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we can do on there. We've helped about 850 companies. We work with small and medium-sized companies to sell online and to sell internationally. And I love doing talks such as this. So we've trained and talked to over 5,000 companies and different people to actually start them on what we call the international digital journey. So they're actually able to reach people basically all over the world and sell their products and services all over the world. As you saw, I've produced a book. It's called Grow Fast, Grow Global, and it's called 6 Steps to Unstoppable International Growth in the Digital Age. I've worked with the UK Trade Promotion Agency, which is the Department for International Trade now, for over 10 years, helping companies to become more digital and to export. So in the book, we've looked at, you know, what the main steps are for actually, okay. So I feel like the whole stage is moving from being under my feet. Is it okay now? Yeah. Yeah. So where was I? Yeah. So basically, we've worked for 10 years with the Department for International Trade and helping companies to export, but using digital channels to do this. And so we looked back a couple of years ago and just saw that there was a method that the people who had succeeded really well were taking. So I thought, right, let's put this in a book, because then basically everybody in the world can read about that, and then hopefully we can help with a lot of business growth, you know, reduce poverty and all these types of things. So that's what we're trying to do now. So let's get started on what we're talking about today. Ça passe? Oh wait, no wait, wait, voilà. So basically, non, il y en a avant ça, je crois. Oui, merci. Bon, alors, we all know that there's been a technology explosion, and today we're all here to try and find out, you know, what that opportunity means to us and how we can use that. Pass. So there's 3 trends, 3 things that I'd like to talk to you about. The first one is that once we've produced all of our products using the Industrie 4.0, then we need to get them to markets. And my suggestion is that we can take them not just to your national market here in Morocco, but you can take them to international markets. So I'll talk a little bit about that. The second one is, and people have spoken a lot about that today, is about how to build the digital skills. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience and what needs to be done with that. And then the third thing I'd like to just share with you is there sort of like life beyond even Industrie 4.0? And will manufacturing and production companies actually perhaps become service companies in the future? Okay, thus. So the first one, and this is actually written in my book, is all about how we can find our customers and how we can sell to our customers internationally. Now, a lot of people know about using their websites to generate leads, whether they be from consumers or actually from other customers, business customers. But we shouldn't really limit ourselves to the old business models that we've had of, say, using, you know, a sales team or using agents or distributors or going to exhibitions, say across the world, that cost a lot of money and take a lot of time. We can use these digital channels that basically any size business can have access to. So the one at the top there is actually using your websites to generate leads. Then a lot of people now are selling through their e-commerce websites, but more and more, and for the first time now in 2019, more products have been sold on e-marketplaces, like the Amazons, the Tmals, Alibaba, than have actually been sold through people's and companies' websites. So that's a big change that is happening, like a tipping point. But we also need to look at some of the other channels as well that are going to be available to us. So, for example, S-commerce is social commerce. So this is selling through the likes of Facebook Shop or Instagram shoppable posts, that type of thing. That's only a tiny bit of sales at the moment, but in the future, that's expected to grow by 30% every year. It's about 2% of digital sales at the moment. And then at the bottom there, you have C-commerce. Now, even in Europe, we are very, very behind with this. If you look at what happens, has anybody heard of WeChat that is used in China? I mean, people run their whole lives off that app. We can't even understand really how much that is part of their everyday life. They use it for everything. So that is something to watch out for as well over the future as they're coming here. And then the local partners online is working with companies in other countries, as you would do, say, a distributor or stockist, but making sure that they're digitally savvy, so that you're able to get into their market. So these are sort of like different ways of actually finding new customers for our industry, for products that come off with all that technology. So I uphold that like every single person within the economy needs to have digital skills these days. It is the future. In many countries, it's like it's the here and now there. Now, the thing with the digital skills, though, is that these days you need a really, really deep level of expertise. The day of the generalist, just knowing a little bit of everything, seems to have been gone, and we need a deep, deep knowledge of each of these different topics. Now, most people don't get digital, It's a big ask to make a leap, but it really is a mindset change that people have to know that this is the future and that they're going to have to train and put a lot of time and effort in themselves to upskill. I've taught myself almost everything I know. It's all on Google, so we just need to have a little look at that. Now, in the UK, as I was saying, we found that a lot of the companies, even these days, even when we're going into the 2020s, that they're not embracing the digital, They're really trying to stick to the old business models because that's what they're comfortable with. So we're trying to work really hard with them to increase the digital skills so that they don't get left behind. So my question is for you is it only the entrepreneurs and the business owners that need these digital skills? Or is it wider than that? Now, I think that it's a lot wider than that. As I said earlier, I think that everyone needs to have these digital skills, but perhaps to a different level. So this is what I'm sort of looking at here now, is like there's a whole like ecosystem, and that people within the whole of our economies need to actually have these digital skills. So what we found a lot within the UK is that a lot of people who are not within the tech sector don't really know much about digital and are actually almost quite embarrassed to talk about digital because they feel that they're going to get caught out because they don't have it. But we need to change that because it's here, it's the future. Everybody needs to talk about that. So the 5 main groups that I've identified here that need digital skills training is, yes, we need the companies, They need to have the digital skills, obviously, to operate their businesses. And that is in the way of Industry 4.0. It is e-commerce, but it's also all their internal systems as well. We really need to make sure that all the businesses become truly digital. The next one on here I've got is it's the implementers, Now, these are the ones, these are like the tech companies, the web companies, all the digital agencies, the people who are really into this, the people who are already doing this, we need to support them and make sure that they've got the most up-to-date skills, because then our economy will move even faster if we enhance and embrace what the people who are brilliant at this are already doing. The next one on the top here is the educators. That's basically all of the schools, all of the universities. That needs to change as well. So whether somebody's 5 or whether somebody's 95, they need to have these different skills. And there's been some talk I heard earlier, about ongoing professional development, and also I would say retraining for a large part of the economy as well, to be able to give them the skills that they can then participate in the digital one. Intermediaries, which we've got down the bottom here, is all the people who work with businesses. So this might be chambers of commerce, it might be trade associations, it might be, it might be banks, it might be solicitors, it might be accountants. So it's all these people are in contact. They need to have at least some level of digital skills to be able to encourage the businesses that they're working with to have that cascade effect to get them to enter into the digital economy there. And then, certainly not finally, but most importantly, and it's been great to see so much support here today from your ministers, is the governments really, really need to understand, what is possible, and all the trade promotion agencies, all the regional development agencies, all need to be able to train as well. So it's a massive task, right? Because we're retraining in different ways all and every part of the economy, so that they can all be part of the digital revolution as we move into 2020. Okay, pass. Right, so my last point here is about, what is going to happen. And if you pass. So I was lucky enough to go to the World Trade Organization last year, the Public Forum in Geneva, and Jack Ma, of Alibaba fame? Yeah, he was there. And he said this. He said that his prediction by 2030 was that over 80% of all businesses would be digital, and they would be service businesses as well. So everybody sort of went, what? So it sort of like made you go away and think. So what could change in 10 years' time? So if you... manufacturing has been quite a linear process, hasn't it, over the time? You get materials, then they're produced, and they come out as products, and then we sell them. And that might be through, agents, distributors, sales teams, and then we can get our products all around the world. Pass. Merci. But in the future, there is a possibility that actually this will all change, yeah? And actually the manufacturers will no longer be manufacturers, they will actually be designers, yeah? And that they will actually own the IP, the intellectual property, and it will be that they are selling all over the world. Now, it will be the tech companies that are perhaps making the technology, for 3D printing and the robotics and things like that. And actually, if you see the bottom part of this, the production would almost happen in all of the different countries locally, yeah? So you take an example of one of the clients that we work with, and they manufacture tools, yeah, for businesses to repair machines and things like that. So I said to him, I was like, well, what's going to happen here? So are you always going to be selling these and sending these heavy tools all the way around the world to South America, to Asia, whatever? Could it be that perhaps in the future what's actually going to happen is that you will be designing these amazing tools, owning the IP, and then either licensing that out or having things 3D printed in lots of different countries around the world? So that could really change trade forever, really, and also the way that things are produced around the world. So this scenario may not be, for every small and medium-sized company now within, 2020, but perhaps in 10 years, by 2030, it may well be that this is the scenario. And this really is where the power of Industry 4 lies. Thank you.